Hello everyone, Crytek just released the new Developer Insight, and today about data and learning. I will go over the entire video, give some examples, and predict what could be the changes they do. Keep in mind, there is still gonna be more videos, so the stuff that didn't get mentioned will eventually come out. Obviously, it's 3 months until the new update, so it makes sense that they are keeping the most interesting stuff right before August. I actually got surprised how transparent they were in this video, and how they owned up their mistakes.
Hello, I'm Dennis Schwartz, the Design Director for Showdown. Today we're going to talk about our key learnings from player surveys, community feedback and data gathered over the course of our last 5 events. These lessons continuously shape our thinking for future events, pacts, traits, weapons and other mechanics. Thank you for your contributions to them.
I always tell you, man, always, I post the survey in the chat, make the survey, do the surveys.
Let's start with a brief recap. First, let's talk about Devil's Moon. This event pushed the boundaries of our game by adding the element of choice between pacts and exclusive traits. This first round of pact traits were designed to shake up the gameplay experience and experiment with new mechanics. Devil's Moon also brought with it our very first wildcard condition, the Inferno, though it also predated our first wildcard contract, which didn't appear until Tide of Shadows. Our design goal is to have an even distribution of pick rate for our event pacts, but we missed the mark with Devil's Moon as the grounded pact, which featured both Shadow and Death Cheat, made up 85% of our total usage. The Lunar Pact made up 10%, and the Infernal Pact only had a 5% pick rate. This wasn't a great result in terms of distribution, but the experiment and overall play experience was still judged a win for Hunt, and good lessons were learned. Similarly, our new wildcard condition, the Inferno, changed our existing maps radically, which was initially well received but resulted in some fatigue as the event went on. Since then, we've learned a lot of valuable lessons about players' preferences in accessing wildcard conditions, and received similar feedback for Thunder Shower, the Dark Inferno, and Ash Bloom.
Dude, this for me is so insane that they admitted those, like, you know, those time of days are actually, like, not hated, but disliked a lot, you know? And I mean, they are changing them, like, slightly, slowly, right? They reduced the range from 4 minutes to 2 minutes. They made the Ash Bloom quieter, and they made the light Ash Bloom last longer. So they are learning, you know, they are learning, but maybe, you know, one day they'll step from these low visibility time of days. Maybe they're gonna do something new. We'll see.
With each update, we will tune and adjust the frequency of these conditions appearing and their impact on the play space and game mechanics.
Yeah, what I just said, you know, they are adjusting it slowly, even though it doesn't work right now. Range should be shorter and better.
Moving into the Tide event trilogy, our goal was to better understand your level of satisfaction with the events and new additions being made. Alongside usage statistics and tons of great feedback we gathered from social media, we began publishing 2 public surveys for each event. Tide of Shadows was the first event we ran surveys for, and we received well over 20,000 responses.
20K.
We embrace and rely on your feedback on events, weapons, wildcard conditions and game mechanics to help us make Showdown the best game it can be. Please continue to take part in surveys and reach out via our official Discord and other social media channels to share your thoughts.
They change everything.
The 3 event pacts on Tide of Shadows received a healthy distribution of usage compared to Devil's Moon, but still had room for improvement. This time around, we made sure that Death Cheat was available to all pacts. We also experimented with different configurations of pacts and how to pledge for them at supply points. In general, we kept what worked and dropped what didn't. So every event had something new to offer, but we also had some old favorites come back for more. Eventually, some of these experiments turned into full, long-lasting additions to the core game. As the live events progressed, data showed that in some cases we matched our own expectations, while in others, certain pacts dominated in usage. Sometimes they started out with a healthy split before one pact emerged to come out on top, like in Tide of Corruption, when the Infernal Pact took over the lead at 49% usage, while the Death Pact at 27% and the Demented Pact at 24%.
This is interesting to me, that, you know, the pact usage changed so much during the event, you know, like, you know, people try everything and then, you know, whatever, streamers start playing this, everyone discovered this is the best one, and they just play the best one for the rest of the update, right? The rest of the event. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely better numbers than the previous event.
4%.
For sure.
In other cases, like during Tide of Desolation, we saw some normalization between pacts only halfway through the event, with the grounded pact starting out as the strongest pick with 60% before dropping down to 38%.
And that was because they introduced the Shadow Leap, right? It was like super new thing, everyone was playing it. But then, you know, people realized it isn't that strong, so it dropped.
As far as pack trades go, Shadow Leap specifically was very successful in providing exciting new gameplay mechanics without disrupting the core of the game too much. We want
That was very fun, man. Kinda wish they
to experiment more with new ideas like Shadow Leap moving forward. All in all, there is always room for improvement, but we continue to take your feedback seriously and iterate on the power of our unique pack trades going forward, as well as honing in on packed versus pack balance in general.
Okay, this one.
Our live events have traditionally been a great way for us to introduce new weapons and equipment into the game. Some of these have turned out to be great additions out of the box, while others struggle to find their place in the arsenal. Among the best received weapons were the Drilling, the Pack's True Shot, and the Bornheim Silencer.
And look at this, yeah? All those three weapons, they stayed the same since their release. I think the price has been the change, the balance has been the change, all the stats have been the change, like the same, because, you know, it's just perfect.
As well as the Baseball Bat and the Katana. Both the Marathon and Mako have also been solid additions, cool, even if some of their variants are not in widespread use, and their survey scores reinforced them being less popular additions. Less successful additions were the Uppermut, Derringer Penny Shot, Vetterli Cyclone, the Fire Beetle.
Dude, it's funny because all of them were actually buffed so much.
Additions were the
Uppermut got more damage, I think better animations, faster bullet, better shotgun. They changed it so much, you know.
Derringer
also, like, it got more bullets. It started at 2 and 0. Now we get 2 and 2, right?
Penny Shot.
It's cheaper maybe. Cyclone also got buffed. Way faster fire rate. Not fire rate, reload speed. And the recoil got reduced.
The Cyclone, the Fire Beetle, and the Dolch variants in custom ammo.
Yeah, the Dolch variants, I mean... What can you do with that, right? I think it's good having some more Dolch variety. The Dolch Claw, it's basically a straight upgrade, but Dolch the Die, it would need some changes for sure.
We have room to improve these additions further and touch most of them up again for August release.
Look, they're gonna touch them in August for release. So I guess they're gonna adjust the weapons they just showed. You know, Fire Beetle, well, Uppermut, those, I don't think they're gonna improve them, but we'll see. They'll probably buff the Dolch Deadeye. Fire Beetle. I mean, that one is fine, I think, but we'll see.
Them up again for August release. In review, we acknowledge there is an oversaturation of custom ammo in our arsenal. Moving forward, we'll take steps to address this by first reducing the amount of new custom ammo types introduced during events.
That's insane, you know, people been complaining about it all the time. They're adding them to everything. Custom ammo basically everywhere, for every weapon. So it's cool they're reducing it, it's cool. But personally, there's that big issue with it, you know? I would like to see completely new ammo type, like new custom ammo, but we'll see.
And secondly, by rotating more options in and out with future updates to help shake things up and encourage players to try out different combinations.
This is actually insane, no? So, let's say they're gonna remove Dum Dum for Centennial, and then they're gonna add it again a few months after. Like, this could be interesting, you know? This could be interesting. It could shake the meta. Like, imagine they just remove Spitzer in general for, like, entire update. You know? It would be interesting for sure.
We clearly don't need further Dolch ammo added to the game anytime soon.
This is so funny to me. We clearly don't need any more Dolch ammo.
And are considering removal of some that are currently there.
So, do you think they're gonna remove Dolch FMJ? I hope they do, man. I hope they do. Like, you know, the best weapons, best secondaries were Uppercut and Dolch. Uppercut, what was the advantage? The penetration. But now you have Dolch FMJ, which has better penetration than Uppercut. The bullet speed is like 20 slower, faster fire rate. Yeah, the headshot range, but yeah, if they remove Dolch FMJ, some custom ammo, you know, at some times, oh my god, man. I would also like already shake the 6-star meta for better.
In terms of things well loved by players, Weapon Inspection first appeared in Tide of Corruption with overwhelmingly positive scores. This was expected given how long the request for this feature had been coming in from the community.
I wonder if it's good. Yeah, Dum Dum is fine with Dolch because it has light bleed anyway. You know, it's not like medium or high, it's light. Yeah.
Our first wild target, Roger, was initially received as only okay, but data gathered from the second survey showed that by the end of the event, she was more appreciated with a good overall satisfaction rate. Notably, the groups who had the biggest change in sentiment over Roger were the ones that included players who've played less than 500 hours of Hunt.
So you see it, man. More, like the new players like Roger more, which makes sense. Because why would you go for Rojo, you know, eventually? Like, the rewards are smaller, it's in the water. Unless you need banishment, you don't need.
Lessons learned around Roger have led to some improvements for future wild targets, their potential rewards as side objectives, and the overall difficulty of defeating them.
I think it's good, man. You know, more rewards. Potential rewards for a side objective. I guess that's what I mean, you know? Wild targets. And difficulty of defeating. That's good as well. I always say, like, even when they introduced Rojo, I was saying, you should always, like, it should be made in a way that you first go for Rojo and then use some kind of boost from the Rojo to attack the main boss, you know? Like, it would give you some special trait that only drops from there. I mean, you get Dark Side, right? But it's not enough, I feel like. Something more to prepare you for the main boss.
Desolation's Wake also introduced the concept of pledge marks being used to unlock sealed rewards found in the world. Sealed rewards have been very well received. Specifically the full health restoration, master clue, bounty token for pledge marks, and the sealed cash registers scored high on our last survey. The
only thing I didn't like was too much traffic, no? Like too much traffic on those spots. So many traps. Maybe it's a good thing and bad thing, but I think there should be chance for these to spawn like in-game anywhere else, you know? But
pledge marks and the sealed cash registers scored high on our last survey.
Yeah, the cash. I'm not a big fan of the cash because one cash register gave you 500 and you already made more money than Trio if you extracted the bounty. And you could actually farm like 3 minimum per game. So I met many people that were just farming pledge marks and cash registers. So I don't know. I think this should be improved. But maybe they will, you know? Maybe they will.
Last survey. This encouraging result has us looking to expand and refine the mechanics for sealed rewards, which you can hear more about when we come back to discuss the lead up to our next event, which goes live with the engine upgrade on 15th August.
Yep, engine map, August 15th.
Our current weekly challenge system has yet to meet player expectations since being introduced in Devil's Moon. The weekly challenge system suffers from 3 main problems. First, if you're unable to play for a week during the event, then you miss out on that week of event points, which is quite punishing. Next, completing a weekly challenge set requires players to constantly adjust their loadout and playstyle, which starts to feel like a chore after a handful of challenges. Lastly, certain challenges require specific custom ammo, which new players and prestige players might not have unlocked yet. We want you to know the pain points here have been clearly identified. We will discuss our changes to the weekly challenge system in a future video addressing these primary complaints.
It's crazy to me, they admit, you know, since they introduced weekly challenges, they were just bad, you know. It's true. And before that, there was summons. And summons turned into weekly challenges because they were also very bad. So yeah, it's good they are still improving it and great points, you know, great points.
For years, our players have asked for more ways to restore their lost chunks of health during a mission. As a result, we've experimented with different ways of restoring health chunks during most of our events. Overall, our community has welcomed the addition of more ways to restore lost or burned health chunks, but there have been times when we overshot the mark. We want players to have a chance to come back during a mission, rather than feeling pushed to extract without a bounty token. Peacekeeper is the best example of where we got the balance wrong on restoring health chunks. Restoring lost health chunks was too easy, and giving the ability to revive Red Skull teammates went too far, opening the door for exploits and frustratingly long stalemates, especially with fights away from the boss layers. Learning.
Yeah, so many situations, man. I'm solo, I kill 2 guys, then I die, and I go to spectate, and I see 2 dead guys being dead on the ground, fully burned out, and then their teammate across the map with the Peacekeeper waiting for everyone to extract so they can revive. And actually check the traits, they had like 3 death cheats, they had like all the burn traits because, you know, they never died. You could never die if you play like that, right? Obviously the exploit where if 2 solos had Peacekeeper, they could infinitely farm each other for infinite amount of kills, money, and all that stuff. So obviously they'll have to rework it or change it. So that's good.
From this, we will tread far more carefully whenever a mechanic is considered that reduces the penalty of dying repeatedly to the point of Red Skull markers. We hope that you enjoyed some of the insights from this retrospective and how we try to find a balance between sentiments, surveys, and data, which don't always align on the surface. We'll be back soon with insights on our August relaunch and what to expect from it.
So I mean, data and learning, you know? All the feedback, all the surveys, they are learning, they are, you know, maybe not announcing it all the time, but dude, I'm actually surprised how many mistakes or like how much stuff they admitted they didn't do right, you know? Like the wildcards, the conditions, the challenges. the weapons, the packs. I mean, yeah. They didn't mention anything about like ping and region lock, but I think there is gonna be specific video for the backend update, which probably is gonna mention there. So yeah, this was like in-game, you know, it's Dennis, right? Dennis has nothing to do with like ping and stuff. Dennis is Dennis, man. He's the balance guy, you know, he's in charge of the game stuff. So yeah. Thank you, Dennis, man. Good video. And I'm looking for the next week, man.